Thank you. First of all, obviously, we want to congratulate DePaul, the Big East tournament champions. Obviously, a very good team. Obviously, it showed their experience today. I think DePaul is known for their offense, and they're one of the best offensive teams in the country. But their defense won the game today, clearly. They came out, they defended better than I've seen them play in all the games I've ever watched. And their experience showed. And then, you have a kid like Centrise McGee, who's not a good three-point shooter at all, make 3 for 3 to start the game. And I give her credit. She's a senior. She stepped up. She knew the importance. She shot the ball with confidence, and give her a lot of credit. And certainly the environment did us no favors, but we've played in difficult environments in the past. But it's hard to play on the road, especially as a number 1 seed in a conference tournament. But clearly, they outplayed us today. This was their day. The last 2 times we played them, it was our day. So I give them credit. Hopefully they'll do well in the NCAA tournament, and I know we will do well because we deserve to be a top 6 or 7 seed in the country. There's no doubt in my mind. We're 28-5. We have played, I think, 14 top 100 teams. And we've proven that we're not only a very good basketball team in the Big East, but one of the best in the country. We've played teams such as Georgia, Illinois at full strength and handled them easily. We've beaten DePaul twice, St. John's twice, Villanova twice. Anyone who we've played, we've beaten. We've gone on the road and played tough teams. And this clearly is a team that deserves a high seed in the NCAA tournament. And a team that deserves respect for the 33 games we played throughout the year, not the 1 game that we've played in the Big East Finals on the road. But again, I congratulate DePaul, and hopefully they'll do well in the NCAA tournament as well.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up now to questions for Didi. As usual, if you can announce yourself, your affiliation for the benefit of our transcribers who are with us remotely. And if you have a question, come on over and see John with the microphone. We'll start with John Fanta, Big East Digital Network.
Thanks, James. Didi, this isn't the result you wanted. What kept your offense from really getting into rhythm tonight?
Like Coach said, DePaul played really good defense. I think our guards just didn't do a good job with getting open. We couldn't really start our offense. But credit to DePaul, they played really good defense, and we just have to come out a little bit more aggressive and just play better.
It seemed like at times tonight when you drove through the lane, you were looking for somebody to throw the ball to. You were looking and looking and looking, and that's something that you do so well. Why weren't you able to figure out a way to get that pass in? It seemed like DePaul was everywhere. I mean, how were they able to do it tonight compared to the 2 other matchups?
I don't know. It's a good question. Every time I drove, I seen the blue shirts, and I looked for my teammates, and I didn't see them open either. But I don't know. It was tough. It was tough.
And like we talked about in the locker room, the problem is it falls on my shoulders. They play as hard as they can. They do what they're supposed to. He made a great adjustment. We talk about it's all about points in the paint. We had outscored them 96-32 in the first 2 games. Tonight the points in the paint were 34-30. They scored 30 points in the paint. They only had 32 in the first 2 rounds. We scored 34. We averaged 48 in the first 2 games. They made an adjustment. I didn't handle it well. I didn't adjust properly, and you know what? It falls on my shoulders. Don't blame the kids for this. This is on me at the end of the day. Go ahead.
Didi, at the same time, you look at this season, and you still have a lot of basketball to be played. I talked to Coach before. He said he's proud of you either way. How important is it now to put this away and look to Selection Monday and get ready for the NCAA tournament?
Before we put it away, we have to, figure out what we did wrong and, just do better and make sure, when we're in this position again, we won't be in this position again, and just look at film and watch our mistakes. And then once we, realize the mistakes we made, we move on. But, we can't just move on right now. We have to go back and watch film and look at our mistakes and things we could have done better. Look at the good also and move on.
Ben Gartland from the DePaulia. When DePaul jumped out to that early lead, 15-3, what does that do to your mindset now having to play from behind?
It's not something that we isn't used to. We've come back 1,000 times. But
including twice against DePaul. We were down 10 in our gym. We were down 18 in their gym. Honestly, that meant absolutely nothing, to be brutally honest with you. I was like, whatever. Go ahead, you finish.
Yeah, like Coach said, it didn't rattle us not one bit. They're a great team. They jumped out on us, and like they did the first 2 times we played them. But that didn't rattle us at all. I mean,
That
we
wasn't
still
the
played that
problem at
game.
all. No, that really wasn't. We're down. Listen, this team, we've been down double digits all year. That's irrelevant. Not to interrupt you, I apologize.
Didi, George Blackshear of 89.5 FM. Were you struggling to get Tabitha the ball? I mean, uncharacteristic for her to finish with 6 points in the game.
Yeah, they were denying. They were face guarding her. I mean, and that just goes to show what type of player Tab is and what type of effect she has on the court. And I mean, it helped. It kind of helped us a little bit, but you know, we have to just do better with making sure she get open, because we do need Tab to step up and dig deep and get open for us.
And that's twofold. I did a stinky job of getting her opened, and she did a bad job of adjusting to it. She's adjusted to it a lot better in the past. She had no offensive rebounds. She had 6 in the first half against Marquette. She had a bunch against St. John's. She's got to do a better job, but ultimately I, as the boss of the program, have to get a job in getting her better looks, and I didn't.
And Didi, also, did the foul trouble affect you at all throughout this game?
No, I still played aggressive. This is a championship game. I don't really care about fouls. It's do or die at this moment.
I didn't even know she had 4 fouls, I'll be honest with you.
I don't. It's a championship game. Go all out, leave it all on the court, and that's what I did.
Exactly.
George Blackshear, 89.5 FM, WSOU. Coach, first question I'm asking you, do you think this tournament should be held somewhere else besides right in the All-State?
No, I mean, I think DeWall has done a great job. I think their athletic director stepped up and saved our tournament, because when we divided in the Big East, no one wanted to host it, and she stepped up, and that's why she's one of the best athletic directors in the country. She did a great job of stepping up and getting us this facility and getting the people here to support us and do everything. Ultimately, yes, I do think it needs to be moved off, but I think for these 2 years, the Big East has chosen a great site with great people to host this tournament. Yeah, does it stink that we had to play there? Absolutely. But you know what? It stinks to actually play here as opposed to not playing here. I'd rather do that. It's our own fault. We've played on the road many times. Yeah, do I think it needs to be moved? Of course, eventually. But I give Jeannie and her staff and the people in the Big East so much credit to get us a great facility like this in a great area. I can't thank the Big East enough. And DePaul. They're a first-class school and a university.
Is there any structure of this tournament you think needs to be altered?
We need to score more points in the championship game. No, the tournament's fine. They've done it professionally. The Big East people are tremendous. Pam, who's been our point person, couldn't be any better. I couldn't be more pleased with the staff of the Big East and how we've run everything here. The thing that stinks, George, is we did not win, and that stinks. And I'm not happy about it, neither are the players. But ultimately, you know what? I have to take responsibility for that, and I will.
Hi, Jim Neander from Scout. Coach, your team led the Big East in field goal percentage defense at 37% this year. DePaul shot almost 20% more for that. Do you have any explanation for that today?
That's a great point. I do, Jim, and that's a great question. I think our offense really dictated the way we played defense. We were down and depressed and frustrated and annoyed, and we hadn't done that. Against Marquette, we couldn't score a basket forever. Against St. John's, they played great defense. We struggled to score, but our defense set us up. And today, our offense dictated our defense, and that stinks. We said in the game plan, keep them out of the lane. They scored 30 points in the lane. They had scored 32 in the first 2 games. It's unacceptable. And again, because on the offensive end, we were out of our mind. But again, you have to understand, I took over a program 2 years ago that had 27 wins in the combined 3 years. We have 28 this year. This is not a group of kids that have played at a high level like this under the high pressure that we have. And again, we're all new to this. I know we have grad students in this, but none of them played in this game. And there certainly was no success before I took over this program. So these kids, they were nervous. And I didn't help them at all. And that's my fault. But at the end of the day, they're 28-5, and I'm proud of them more than any team I've ever coached in my life. Because they left everything on the floor. They won a Big East regular season championship. They got to the Big East finals, beating a tremendous St. John's team in the semifinals. And you know what? We're going to learn from this. And when we play next weekend, we're going to be ready to play that team.
We'll take 2 more for Coach.
Coach, George Blackshear, 89.5. When the game's all done, whistles are blown, buzzer sounds, did you want your team to hang out on the court and see the feeling that DePaul gets getting that trophy, to remember that feeling of losing? And
again, I'm sorry we left the court, but we didn't understand. Do we stay? Do we not go? That wasn't explained properly at all. I'll be honest with you. If you ask one thing, I would like to have been told, the game ends, both teams stay on the floor, this is what happens. No one told me that. God bless you. So I apologize. I'll take responsibility that we walked off the floor and came in. It stinks. That's what I didn't know. No, I didn't want them to see it. But if that's the rule, then we have to see it. It's fine. Listen, we don't need to rub it in. These kids are hurting. That's fine. But again, that's what we do, and that's how to do it. And then we should have stayed. But I needed that explained to me. I did. You asked one thing that I'm upset about. I wish someone had said to me before the game, this is what we do at the end of the game. That's all. That's okay. Next year when we win, then we'll know what we're doing. And it would have been easier. If we won, we wouldn't have to worry. Go ahead.
Last one for Coach.
No, it's fine.
Tony, I know you've talked about this before, but just one last look at your team's resume overall. I mean, I feel like you've been disrespected at times. Do you feel that way?
No, I mean, I think the only thing that bothers me a little bit, John, is, I get up here and I talk about how great all the teams are that we play. There's been very few coaches that have said to us, you know what, that's some rebuilding job that Seton Hall has done. That's some group of players they've put together. That's some program they have that's representing the Big East. But you know what, I will tell you this. I think we have 9 other great teams in this program, in this conference. I think it's a tremendous conference that deserves a lot more than 2 teams in the NCAA tournament. Unfortunately, we're only going to get 2 teams because Villanova had people that are injured and St. John's played a little inconsistent at points. But St. John's and Villanova are as good as any of the 64 teams that are going to play in the NCAA tournament. I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you, Creighton's would beat a lot of teams as well. So, no, it's not. We'll get respect from the right people. Certainly our administration has respected us more than anything. And certainly I think DePaul and St. John showed a lot of respect because they played their butts off against us. And you know what, I've said this many times. I know Kathy's back here, but I want to build our program to have the success that St. John's has had year in and year out. And you know what, we're starting to get that way. But you know what, we've got to continue to understand how difficult it is to win, and the higher the level is, the more pressure it is, the better you have to play. And St. John's has done that. St. John's last year lost in this game. They did. Then they went and won an NCAA game. Well, we need to do that. That's what we need to do. I give them a lot of credit for it. And if we want to be a high-level program and be talked about like the DePauls and the St. John's and the Villanovas, then we need to make the next step and win a game. Hopefully more. But that's why I do feel we do deserve a good seed, because this is a good basketball program, and we've proved it all year.
Thank you.